A test of any specific claim is going to depend entirely upon that claim. If you say you can speak to dead people, I've got a whole load of questions I would like to ask certain dead people, answers to which I already have. And the dead people, since they're dead, I don't believe they've got the answers any longer. But if you want to call them up and ask them the questions and come up with the right answer, hey, you could win the $1 million. Many people say they can read minds, they can predict the future, they can interpret dreams and such. Well, it all depends on the specific claim they make. All they have to do is say what they can do, under what circumstances, with what accuracy. And some people have taken literally years. One fellow, a PhD in California, took 4.5 years to answer those 3 questions. And finally, when we got ready to enter into tests with him of remote viewing, as he called it, and he actually gave courses in this at the university in California, he suddenly changed his email address and his telephone number. We haven't been able to reach him since. Isn't that strange? I guess he doesn't need the $1 million. I'd like to say that there has been one particular difficult one, but no, they've all been so easy. They've been so easy because they're so transparent. I've been in this business for a long, long time, and I've seen everything. Recently, I got a nice contract to go to South Korea and do a TV series, which I did there, testing South Korean psychics, so-called. And they told me before I left, they said, oh, Mr. Randi, you've signed the contract now, so I guess we should tell you, we've got psychics in South Korea that you've never seen before. And I went off there with my assistant, and we looked at them and turned to one another and said, wait a minute, this is the same thing that's been going on since the 1600s. It's in all the books. It's exactly the same thing. They're serving kimchi at lunch instead of macaroni or whatever. But in any different culture, in any different, the costume is different, the language is different, but the same stunts are being done again and again and again. They haven't invented anything new since the early 1600s. Well, you'd have to ask a psychologist and perhaps a few psychiatrists that question, because technically I can't answer that question. But I will tell you, I suspect strongly that people need to have some more romance in their lives. After all, look at the average kid who is male or female who is raised by his parents to believe that he or she will have children, and you'll have a wife or a husband, and they'll be absolutely ideal people, and everything will go. You'll be a doctor or a lawyer, you'll be very wealthy, have a beautiful home. It doesn't work out that way all the time. In fact, it seldom works out that way. And so they look around and say, what have I done wrong? And if somebody runs an ad on television saying, oh, I can solve your problems, I can give you guidance to the future, and I can look into the crystal ball or read the tarot cards or whatever, they may tend to fall for that sort of thing, because they say, they wouldn't say that if it weren't true. Oh, yes, they would. And there's a huge profit margin in this. So people do fall for these things very, very easily.